Hello, everybody. So today is a subscriber requested topic, which is about Chainlink. I was asked by AJ, been a little while since I've done one for you, on what is Chainlink and what is my price prediction for it, which will most certainly be in this at probably near the end of the video. And so Chainlink is a crypto I'm incredibly bullish on. I'm a big fan. I do not own. So real quick, so I don't hear this already of, wow, if you're such a big fan, why don't you put your money into it? I don't know. Honestly, guys, I can only spread my wealth so many places, and I put it into hbar and quant really instead of Chainlink. That's it. I've got nothing against Chainlink. I think it's a great crypto. You're going to hear me talk very highly about it during this one. And I think it's well worth people taking a look into, especially if you're looking for anything to add to the narratives of real world assets or interoperability, or it really does a lot of things. I can compare it very closely to Hedera and the fact that it just dips its toes into so many different narratives and can be used in various ways, which is only a plus for a company, right? If you can use 8 tools, but then you look over and there's one tool that does all 8 of those jobs, we're going to want to use that one tool instead. And that's really where Chainlink comes into play. So I'm going to give a brief overview of what Chainlink is. I'm not going to go into all the technicalities, guys. I'm not going to make this a 3-hour video. The point of this is to give you enough information for you to decide if Chainlink is worth you doing more research into. All right, so let's kind of just jump right into it and let's talk about Chainlink. So Chainlink is a decentralized Oracle network, and it runs with smart contracts. So real quickly, I don't want to presume that everyone knows what oracles and smart contracts are, and they're kind of imperative, in my opinion, to understand Chainlink or really most crypto, but let's keep it based off of Link for now. By the way, Chainlink's coin is called Link. Easy enough. I'm a Zelda fan, Nintendo fanboy, whatever, just imagine holding the sword. Anyhow, so what is an oracle? So think of an oracle as the middleman between blockchains and the actual real world, right? So a blockchain thing was a box, right? We have Ethereum blockchain, the box over here, AVAX blockchain over here, Solana blockchain is up here dealing with little shitty memes or whatever the heck it does for fun. And all they know is what's in their blockchain, right? They don't know what's going on into each other. They certainly don't know what like the weather is like or what the stocks are doing or what the US dollar is worth at any given moment. And this is what oracles do, is that oracles feeds that information and connects the blockchain to the real world. So this way, when we're looking at Ethereum, I think this is where Ethereum was, one Ethereum is worth one Ethereum. That's all it knows. But with constant price changes, inflation, etc., like, oh, one Ethereum's worth this amount of dollars. And, maybe there's a company on Ethereum that measures weather changes and that they give crypto out for monitoring weather. There is one, I forget what it's called. I used it for a little bit as a passive in source, but it doesn't know unless there's an oracle to tell it, hey, there's something outside of your own little box that can affect you. And that's what oracles do. And this is a big freaking deal. And Chainlink was the first oracle system that was decentralized, meaning it wasn't owned by anybody. Again, huge deal because then you can't manipulate the information if nobody owns the information. And then smart contracts, almost a requirement for a lot of crypto projects, is essentially coding that says, if this happens, and then that will happen as a result, right? So if I send one Ethereum to Bob, you must release this Ethereum. Like, it's very plain and simple, but it's also very much a requirement. So that's Oracle and smart contract. So some key features or components about Chainlink, right, is, again, the oracles. You're going to fetch real world data securely. And this really is the biggest component of Chainlink, is the fact that it can pull data from almost anywhere and send it to a blockchain. Because of the interoperability, which is a huge part of this from their cross-chain interoperability protocol, CCIP, we can take information from the real world that Ethereum gets, send it over to Solana, bring it back to Chainlink, and everything interconnects as one piece. Again, that eat tools, why not use one component? That's where Chainlink really thrives. Chainlink is used by a couple different crypto or companies you might have heard of, like Aave, Compound, Synthetics, GMX. Chainlink has partnered up with Hedera, which is a pretty big deal. They partnered up a little while ago. I think it was like mid 2024. They expanded upon their partnership to now where they're sharing essentially their data and their systems to create dApps with Hedera. So that's always awesome. I personally, maybe it's a biased lens I'm looking through right now. I thought that was a bigger deal for Hedera, but it does not hurt for Chainlink to have. I mean, honestly, Chainlink is, I think, a little bit higher on the ranking in terms of market cap than Hedera, but these are two powerhouses that are working together. Again, networking is huge in really any space, let alone crypto. So some major partnerships that Chainlink has worked with, other than Hedera, which is a pretty freaking big one, honestly. So there's Swift, right? Swift is huge. It is the world's largest bank messaging network, right? It connects or crosses over 11,000 banks in over 200 countries. And Swift is kind of picky with who they work with. I mean, obviously, they work with 11,000 banks, but in terms of crypto, the only other ones that I'm familiar with that Swift directly works with is Quant, XRP, and XLM, all of which are kind of known as ISO or banking coins, right? So, I mean, this gives Chainlink the feasibility of working into CBDCs. And it's a big theory for a lot of people that it will, in some sort or some variety, work with a CBDC. I have no clue about that one, but we're going to find out before long if that's the case or not. Chainlink also works directly with Google Cloud because they use Chainlink to bring data in on chain just to help keep it more secure and, again, decentralized. So I just kind of said, I don't know about CBDCs. Well, I mean, don't know about some of the large ones like Quant and XRP are more likely to get into. But Chainlink does help out with the real world asset transfers of the ANZ Bank in Australia, which is a pretty big bank. They also get really big into gaming and NFTs. I've said this before, guys. I've never really understood the real, attraction of NFTs, but man, did they go freaking hog wild last bull run. So I don't research NFTs enough to give you any thoughts or opinions about if it's going to do well this cycle or not. But Chainlink does have it in with a little bit with Axie Infinity, the Sandbox, and a couple other companies that use Chainlink's randomness tool to help out with creating NFTs. So if you guys know anything about NFTs or you like them or you think they're going to do well or not well for any given reason, please do put in the comments below. I'm actually very genuinely curious about your opinion or thoughts on that one. Now let's get into some of the fun stuff, right? Let's get into price performance and market data. Woo! Charts and things. Because it's not stable by any means, but here's right now floating around $15.34. It's a $10 billion market cap. Again, it is ranked number 12, so it's up there, guys. So this is the quick foreshadow before anyone who's a Chainlink maxi or really big into it and they yell at me because I'm not going to say this thing's going to 50x. Guys, this thing's not going to 50x, right? Like it's already a $10 billion market cap. It's going to go up. It's going to do very well this cycle, but it's going to take a lot more money to come in to make it move up at all. That chart on the month looks pretty good. If we pull it out to the yearly, okay, I can see a little bit more about maybe some moderate term trades and swings on this one. So it's floated around a lot around the 11. It's got a good little resistance line around, we'll call it 11 to 13. But let's make a quick little note that in the last year, it hit essentially $30. If we pull it back to the all-time, let's see what it did last cycle, which is always good to see when a crypto survives a bear market. And not to mention, we'll get in a little bit more of the numbers in a second, but see the bear market here in 2019, Chainlink did its thing. Looks like it hit almost, we'll call it $50. And then in the bear market, they went from, what do we say that was, about 25 to 30 cents instead of floating around the $5 to $7. That's very healthy from bear market to bear market, personally, if you ask me. So in looking at these numbers, if we look back at the recent high, meaning the last year. And this does not mean anything specifically, but it was essentially 2x what it is now. So if you want to be a super bear, this thing's going to at least 2x because it already did. And that was before there was actually the bull run or alt season. I personally don't at all consider it. But when we look at the previous high market cap, even back when it hit in the $50, the high was around 20, almost 21 billion as a market cap. So if we come here and turn it to market cap, see if I can hit that, boom, 21 billion. So if we end up doing quick math and we're saying, wait, it hit $50, that's about 3.5x from now. Okay, there were more coins that were released in that time. That's all that means. And the market cap high we had in the last year was about 16 billion. So for it to get back up to we'll call it the recent high last year of about $30, we are looking at about a $32 billion market cap. Okay, with where it is, there's no concern or anything to me about it getting there and honestly surpassing it. I think this one's going to be all-time high soon. And do realize that not all crypto have to or will hit all-time highs this bull run. The ones that are in the top 100, probably we can expand that to the top 200, very likely. But a lot of people use that as like a law. Far from it, guys. Far from it. So we could kind of see some of that last chart, but just to briefly hit the major aspects of the tokenomics of this coin. So the total supply is 1 billion link. Right, the circulating supply is roughly 66% of that. There's 657 million out currently. So that 41% currently is still held by Chainlink Labs. It's already minted, so we're not worried about like creation or anything of these tokens. They're already there. And they're somewhat accounted for already for developer funding, for node operator incentives, staking, ecosystem growth, the rewards, etc. And some of these tokens will be released gradually over time. And a lot of them are going to be over the counter and not dumped on exchanges. So is the link worth buying, right? Chainlink is easy to find. It's everywhere. It's on every major exchange, which is not a requirement, but it helps a lot. Again, people can only buy what they can find, and people will find things on Binance and Coinbase specifically, right? The new people, the normies, whatever, little Timmy and his mom, your florist, whatever. They're not going to go down into Solana or open up 8 different accounts to pull these different things, use a VPN. No. So Chainlink's everywhere. You can find Chainlink. If you have one exchange, you can buy Chainlink, which makes it incredibly nice. And it increases the odds, or really the factor that's up at a top 12, top 15 crypto. And I think it's worth mentioning that there's been a lot of chatter about Chainlink with JP Morgan and BlackRock. As far as I can find, there's been nothing official, right? But they talk about it, which is a big deal, specifically when you're looking at essentially one of the largest banks and then the largest asset management company on the planet are talking about this crypto here and there. Big deal. Even if they never use them anything officially, they just mention the name. It makes an impact. Just like if Elon Musk or Donald Trump says the name of a crypto, it changes things. It matters. So I guess a real quick caveat before I throw in there my price prediction is that this is based on the current information, not potential if we get other information, right? So this is not the what if it gets a CBDC or what if it gets a partnership officially with BlackRock, JP Morgan, and 6 other banks. No, it's what do we know right now, right? And the most common price prediction that I see is the $100. And that lets me know it's not going to be $100, right? And not to be a pessimist, I didn't say it's not going to hit there. But if you've been around last cycle, you'll understand this. Whenever you hear a price prediction constantly, you know it's not going to be that. It's usually decently under or far past it. So I am more in the realm of thinking it's going to be a little bit under, but That's my thought. That's my belief. I'm thinking it's going to hit about a $70 to $80 limit right now. Again, that's still going to make it a 53, $55 billion market cap. Could it go further? Of course it could, especially if there's a large announcement or something comes out that really pushes its popularity even further. It really could. I'm not going to count on that though, because I'm only going to go based off of the information I personally have. I still would not be upset at all with the $70, $80 if I bought it in there, because this is an incredibly safe crypto. You know it's going to go up. It's not going to lose its spot in the top 20 at any given point. And again, if there's a large announcement to come out, I would up this prediction. But I'm looking at about being a 5 to 6x for right now. And again, that's kind of standard for like the top 2025 crypto. They only have so far to go. This could be a super bull cycle, but I'm going to stick to what I say for right now. And I've been thinking maybe in the bear market, once we officially know we're there, I might come back to all my price predictions and let you guys grade me. We'll see. That's putting a lot out there, but we'll find out. So let me know what you guys think. Are you guys in Chainlink? Are you with me on the price prediction? Do you think I overshot it? Do you think, no, I'm a jackass, it's going to hit $300 easily? Let me know. And if you have a little bit more far sight to tell me why, that'd be wonderful. But if you've been here this long, there's buttons down there, like a little thumbs up, subscribe button. Those would be great if you want to click them, give them a little bit of love. By the way, I appreciate you guys being here. I'll talk to you guys all again soon. Peace.